Boys, we're now a couple days past UFC 309, and there are some things that just absolutely need to be cleared and be mentioned by everyone. And it's something that we all are aware of, something that was clear from the outset after the main event. And it's the level of gaslighting that we as fans are receiving post 309 with Jones and Miocic, all right? The level of standards that we have been downgraded to act like what we just saw was the greatest match in heavyweight, mixed martial arts history between Jon and Miocic is unreal, okay? First of all, let's get it out of the way. Jon did look good. Jon looked very good. That was probably his A- performance. From the first round, he kind of showed, this isn't going to be, some pity-pat party where we're going to give Stipe any attempt. He really, got a beautiful trip on him and just smashed him and ground and pound for close to 2 minutes. It was definitely deserving of a 10-8 round. But after that, round two, kind of, okay-ish round, not something you were really going to write home about. Also at the same time, one judge did give it for Stipe. I wouldn't really have gone that far. That was a okay performance. And then let's continue to round three. Round three, that was a badass knockout. All right, that kick is obviously gonna go around on the YouTubes and the IGs, and that'll do viral. That'll do numbies. And that was definitely badass, as Dana would like to say. But it needs to be mentioned. All right, Stipe is 42, okay? He was a block. He was just a, unmovable bag. He did nothing seriously where I was like, oh, is Jon, in any fear? I mean, if you bet Jon, you should have had no worry. And now let's get to really something that irked a lot of fans, including myself, where we were told in the post-fight press conference with Dana that it was just incredible, the amount of people that were undermining Stipe, thinking that he was going to be pulling an upset, had upset written all over it. Excuse me? Upset written all over it? When did you watch? We watched 18, 19 minutes of, that match. There was nowhere close to, upset written all over it. Stipe had, a match of 42 total strikes. 37 of those significant. I mean, there was nowhere close to even a worry for Jon. Maybe, some giant, right overhook that, missed Jon's head completely. But there was no, scare at all. This isn't any close test like Gustafsson or anything like that. This was just an absolute lie. Now, yes, the pound-for-pound GOAT is, or we should say pound-for-pound plus GOAT. So there you go, to get both of their wishes. And now we need to, I mentioned previously about Stipe, the names that have more recent wins than Stipe is quite astounding. Now, he did fight back in, I believe it was March of 2021 against Ngannou in the rematch. He lost. But prior to that, his win was, previous win was August of 2020 against DC for their trilogy. Here are the guys that have more recent wins by some instances months, some instances by over a year. Than Stipe. All right, we have Kevin Lee back in 2022. You have Anthony Johnson. You have Frankie Edgar, who, if I remember, retired back in over 2 years ago to this time. You have TJ Dillashaw back in 2021 defeating Sandhagen. And then obviously the most common one that people have used is Khabib. Khabib, whose last fight was October of 2020, so an entire election cycle pretty much here in the States. He has a more recent win than the guy that was fighting for the title. And that is just an instance where it's crazy. It's crazy. This is the gaslighting. We were told that this is the badass fight, that this is the biggest heavyweight title fight that we've ever seen is a joke, okay? The guy was out for 3.5 years. He didn't do anything. He was working fireman, salute your service, thank you. The bravest man. But there was just insane. It was just insane. So that was part one, where basically this fight showed us nothing. You didn't learn anything new. There was not really any point of this. It was just an easy way for Jon to, we'll get into this now, played everyone. Jon played everyone since he got injured back last year. And it started when the UFC, which are probably still kicking themselves in the butt right now, that they gave Tom that title elimination fight against Sergey, or the interim championship, and made it an instance where they thought, okay, that will just be tolerated, and we'll just be able to, bypass Jon and just move forward. And instead, that was not the case, as us, the fans, went out correctly, made this fight paramount, made it known to the company that this is the fight we want to watch. We want to see Jon versus Aspinall. And I'll admit, back in, I'd say July, I was probably close to saying there's about a 5% chance that this fight will ever happen. There's just no way Jon's going to try to, make this his fight against Stipe retirement. He's going to walk off of the sunset and really just give everyone a double barrel middle finger. And what he kind of saw right away when he beat Gon and Dana in his previous relationship with Ngannou was basically, force a wedge and say, if you really want to, get back at Francis and try to say, his time at the UFC and his time as champ is irrelevant, then you're going to give me these two guys, the two guys that he beat to win his titles, Stipe and Cyril. And I'm going to use that, and I'm going to have, two pretty fairly easy title wins at heavyweight when in time for Jon over his career, he could have had a lot more tougher competition when he wanted to move up, but instead he didn't. And so that's one where he kind of really used Dana's wanting revenge back against Ngannou. And then now, when in the past week, last week in the pre-fight, he knew what everyone was doing. He knew everyone wanted him to face Aspinall. He knew now that it was probably going to get more and more pressure, that as the fight week was bouting up and the fans wanted him more and more, the demand started buying up. He knew that he was kind of playing heel. We're saying, Tom doesn't deserve this. Tom's not really that good. What has he done? And it was just like, okay, the fans wanted more. Oh, I'm getting called duck, chicken, yada, yada, yada. The chat in the live streams where just the duck chickens were just popping off was unreal. But that is just evidence right there that he was kind of playing us. And then it came to a point where he's mentioning, Jamal Hill or Derek Lewis. Obviously, it's just goading on the fans. And by the time, he won, got his belt again, he right there was like, okay, you guys want the fight? Dana, this is your opportunity. You got to make sure this happens. I'll fight. I'll do it. I'll do it if you want. And, if you want me to do that, we're going to have to show me the checkbook. And that's something now where Dana's almost forced into a very similar situation with Francis and Jon, where, if you want to see this big, badass fight between, two of the baddest men on the world, you got to open up the checkbook and give Johnny Bone Jones a fairly big purse. And that's really where Jon now sits and says, I was able to get, really two massive, potentially, I'd say, based on his hyping up, I'd say about comfortably close to 10 mil, 8-digit purse against Stipe, real easy. And then now potentially a second one with Jon or against Tom, where he'll almost definitely make much, much more than Aspinall. He's now essentially forced his way into getting two, purses, maybe 20 mil in total of across two fights for, half of the hard work. I mean, no one really thought that he was going to have any chance of losing to Stipe. Now with that, at the same time, he's going to have to work exceptionally hard against Tom, given that Tom actually opened now as the favorite. So that's where I wanted to mention. That was kind of my rant of this fight in 309. I wanted to mention it of Dana kind of trying to gaslight us as fans. Is what we saw was like the grandest performance between two heavyweights of all time, and essentially Jon playing all of us and hyping up a fight that if fans wanted to see, he was going to have to be given a good bag, a big bag. So yeah, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Subscribe, like, share the video. Do you agree with these reasons why Tom played essentially everyone? Now Tom's in the situation where he no longer has to say, Stipe, he doesn't deserve this fight. He needs to be Joe Biden. That'll be my first impression for y'all. Hopefully a lot more. But what do you think? Do you agree now that the fight that I personally agree? I think that this fight now will happen at International Fight Weight. It's what everyone's been saying. It's going to have a huge demand. Give it some time to drag on a little bit. Have the hype carried up to the point where that thing come June or July next year is going to have box office. That's going to be an absolute summer a blockbuster. But that'll be it. Thanks for watching. I'm Casual Chris. I'll see you guys later.